8 former law enforcement officers arrested in Operation Rockfish will have to stay in jail as they await their trials. Federal investigators say the defendants took part in what they thought was a drug operation, trafficking narcotics across state lines. Cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, but our Brian Mims was there at today's hearing. He joins us with the latest developments. Brian?
Gerald, nearly half of the defendants were current or former Northampton County Sheriff's deputies. They were the target of a 2-year investigation by the FBI that uncovered 16 separate trafficking operations. In a pretrial detention hearing that began yesterday, emotional loved ones packed the courtroom. Is there anything y'all like to say about the judge's decision?
Family members left the courthouse in no mood to speak with us. One even put her jacket to the camera. Minutes earlier, several of them cried in the courtroom as the judge decided that these 8 defendants would not be going home. The indictment accuses 15 former or current law enforcement officers of moving large quantities of cocaine and heroin along I-95. In closing remarks to the judge, their attorney said they pose no flight risk and no danger to the community. They said they all have trustworthy families who would make sure they abide by the court's orders. 2 of them called this a, quote, sham narcotics operation because the FBI agents used fake drugs in the sting. But a prosecutor said every one of them believed the narcotics were real. In the end, Judge James Gates said the defendants have, quote, a strong incentive to flee, noting the possible long prison terms. And the alleged conduct, in his words, demonstrated a profound disregard for the law. The father of suspect Alfonso Ponton did speak to us briefly.
I just hate it.
Why should your son be home now?
Why should he be home?
Yes.
Why shouldn't he be home? I mean, he just made a mistake, that's all. Ain't nobody perfect.
The judge did allow one defendant, 31-year-old Tasha Daly, a 911 dispatcher for Northampton County, to be released into the custody of her parents.
Now, if convicted, these defendants face a minimum of 10 years in prison and possibly life. As the 8 defendants were handcuffed in the courtroom today, a couple could be seen with moist eyes and mouthing words to their loved ones. A pretrial detention hearing for the remaining
14 members of law enforcement charged as a result of an FBI drug sting in North Carolina earlier this week. It was announced that after a 2-year-long drug sting involving the FBI, a total of 14 members of law enforcement have been charged with drug crimes, including 11 within the state of North Carolina. According to Real TV, all of the arrestees from North Carolina have confessed since being arrested. It wasn't clear if that was part of a plea deal or if they simply chose to confess. My money is on door number 1. The arrests for charges related to cocaine and heroin included 8 current or former police officers, 3 correctional officers, 2 Virginia prison employees, and 1 911 dispatcher. The dispatcher, as well as all 8 of the law enforcement officers except one had worked for the Northampton County, North Carolina, Sheriff's Office. That includes 5 current and 2 former deputies. Via News 7. Thomas Walker, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District, said multiple people were arrested in a major sting of cocaine and heroin operations. Those arrested include 5 current members of the Northampton County Sheriff's Office. They were charged with trafficking cocaine and heroin up and down the I-95 corridor. On Wednesday in court, prosecutors showed photos and video of alleged wrongdoing, Bill reported. They all gave some sort of confession, a prosecutor told the judge, according to the TV station. Each of these defendants admitted to their involvement. 9 of the officers were not granted bail on Wednesday because the judge said he needed more time to review the case, according to Roll. Walker said there were arrests at an airport in Halifax County and a warehouse in Rocky Mount. A second group was arrested at a warehouse in Rocky Mount. The undercover operation, called Operation Rockfish, has been ongoing for about a year and a half. Arrested were Kasey Jacobs, 32, a deputy with the Northampton County Sheriff's Office; Jason Boone, 29, a Northampton deputy; Jimmy Pear, 48, a Northampton deputy; Curtis Boone, 31, a Northampton deputy; Thomas Jefferson Allen, 2, 37, a Northampton deputy; Wardy Vincent Jr., 35, a former Northampton deputy; Corey Jackson, 43, Formerly with the Northampton County Sheriff's Office Antonio Tillman, 31, a Windsor City policeman Adrian Moody, 39, a North Carolina correctional officer Elena Sucanling, 27, a North Carolina correctional officer Kevon Phillips, 25, a North Carolina correctional officer Lanwan Clanton, 36, a correctional officer with the Virginia Department of Corrections Alfonso Ponton, 42, a Virginia correctional officer Tosa Daly, 31, a 911 dispatch operator for Northampton County Crystal Piers, 31, of Raleigh FBI agent John Strong, who said he and the other agents involved were shocked, I tell ya, by the involvement of police officers, characterized it as a breach of the public's trust in which those officers used their positions to line their own pockets. Another guy who is shocked, I tell ya, is Northampton County Sheriff Jack Smith, who saw roughly 15% of his 35 deputy department marched away in handcuffs as a result of the case. He agreed with Agent Strong that this type of thing just cannot be tolerated, especially from members of law enforcement, stating, "They've let me down. They've let the sheriff's office down," Smith said. "They've let the citizens down as well as their families. Most of them have children, and they've let them down as well." For the record, guess who is not surprised at all by this and won't be in any way surprised when they all get light sentences and possibly even just probation? I'm talking about me, in case that isn't really obvious. Related.